It's been a long time, you're just as lovely as you used to be. Okay.
You're in the wrong profession, bro.
I know.
You could have been a singer.
I tried. I actually was the lead vocalist for a band one time, but they tried to bang my girlfriend at the time, so I got mad and quit. He's like, I'll show you where the restroom's at, sweetie. Oh, yeah, I'm sure you will. Right in your fucking cock. All right, back to our religious topics for the day. I'm going to do some George Carlin. I know he ain't around no more, but I'm an old school guy. I've never seen this one, but I want to watch some George Carlin and react to George Carlin on religion and God. So here we go. Sorry, this is like it was Easter Sunday last week, so we're trying to catch back up on religion. So let's go.
Religion has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. And if you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time. But he loves you. He loves you. He loves you and he needs money. He always needs money. He's all-powerful, all-perfect, all-knowing, and all-wise. Somehow, just can't handle money. Religion takes in billions of dollars. They pay no taxes, and they always need a little more. Now, you talk about a good bullshit story. Holy shit. Thank you. But, thank you. Thank you very much. But I want you to know something. This is sincere. I want you to know, when it comes to believing in God, I really tried. I really tried. I tried to believe that there is a God who created each of us in his own image and likeness, loves us very much, and keeps a close eye on things. I really tried to believe that, but I gotta tell you, the longer you live, the more you look around, the more you realize something is fucked up. Something is wrong here. War, disease, death, destruction, hunger, filth, poverty, torture, crime, corruption, and the ice-capades. Something is definitely wrong. This is not good work. If this is the best God can do, I am not impressed. Results like these do not belong on the resume of a supreme being. This is the kind of shit you'd expect from an office temp with a bad attitude. And just between you and me, in any decently run universe, this guy would have been out on his all-powerful ass a long time ago. And by the way, I say this guy because I firmly believe, looking at these results, that if there is a God, it has to be a man. No woman could or would ever fuck things up like this. If there is a God, if there is, I think most reasonable people might agree that he's at least incompetent and maybe, just maybe, doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit, which I admire in a person and which would explain a lot of these bad results. So rather than be just another mindless religious robot, mindlessly and aimlessly and blindly believing that all of this is in the hands of some spooky, incompetent father figure who doesn't give a shit, I decided to look around for something else to worship, something I could really count on. And immediately, I thought of the sun. Happened like that. Overnight, I became a sun worshiper. Well, not overnight. You can't see the sun at night. But first thing the next morning, I became a sun worshiper. Several reasons. First of all, I can see the sun. Okay? Yeah. Unlike some other gods I could mention, I can actually see the sun. I'm big on that. If I can see something, I don't know, kind of helps the credibility along, you know? So every day I can see the sun as it gives me everything I need: heat, light, food, flowers in the park, reflections on the lake, an occasional skin cancer, but hey, at least there are no crucifixions, and we're not setting people on fire simply because they don't agree with us. Sun worship is fairly simple. There's no mystery, no miracles, no pageantry, no one asks for money, there are no songs to learn, and we don't have a special building where we all gather once a week to compare clothing. And the best thing about the sun, it never tells me I'm unworthy. Doesn't tell me I'm a bad person who needs to be saved. Hadn't said an unkind word. Treats me.
You ever thought about, like, I watched a lot of, I can't remember, it's over in England, but I sit around and watch History Channel all the time, but my history sucks when I try to remember shit. So there's a fucking, like, the statues of all the, it's not a statue, but all those rocks that are set in like a circle. Stonehenge. So there's so many different things, even the Egyptian pyramids, the Stonehenge and things, when he's referring to the sun. So many of those things, if you watch documentaries about that, like when certain times of certain days of certain years and every so often, the sun actually, this shit was built and the sun actually comes to, you know what I mean? It's fucking crazy,
you're talking
bro.
to a nerd here. It's the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Rogan's podcast he had Graham Hancock, the guy I was just telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
That thinks that humans are older than we think they are, that the pyramids are older than we think they are, that the humans get like super advanced and then some shit happens and a lot of people die. And then the smart people, they build up again and then it kind of repeats itself. And he thinks there was like about 12,000 years ago, there was this huge, he thinks it was a comet. He works with the guy, Randall Carlson, that thinks it was something that the sun did, where it basically rained lightning and fucked everything up. But he talks about it. There's places in Ohio. It's called the Serpent Mound, I think, where it's like they found this stone that basically pointed directly to like a valley in a mountain, that exactly on the summer solstice, which is the longest day right before it turns into a different season, that the sun falls right in between this valley and this rock points directly at it. And so they were like, oh, this is where the earth meets the sky. Like, this is where everything becomes one. And then so they took this and built a serpent out of it. So it's like this snake coils around, and then on a specific day, the snake is looking at where the sun comes down with its mouth open, like it's about to eat the sun. And then he talks about Stonehenge, where it's the same thing, where he believes that like the stones they used for Stonehenge, they weren't there. Like, they had to come around from all these other places to bring the stones. But there's a spot nearby that a lot of these stones are. So researchers were asking, well, how come they didn't build this where the stones are instead of building it right here where they had to go get the stones and bring them to this spot?
Right.
And it was recently found out, like in last year maybe, that 2 of the stones were already there. There was 2 of them. One of them was standing up. He explained it almost like a gun sight, where like you look down the sight of a gun and you see the first post, like the front sight, that these stones were doing this. And on the exact winter solstice when the sun was coming up, these 2 stones lined up perfectly where the sun was coming up. And so the ancient people at the time were like, this is a sign. And then so it was so important to them to memorialize this spot where it's already lined up that they brought all the other stones from around the area to make Stonehenge, to like memorialize this one spot where nature was already lined up like this. It's kind of interesting.
It's very interesting.
Sorry, I nerded out on you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm here. I appreciate it, because I was like,
Fine. So I worship the sun, but I don't pray to the sun. Know why? I wouldn't presume on our friendship. It's not polite. I've often thought people treat God rather rudely, don't you? Asking trillions and trillions of prayers every day, asking and pleading and begging for favors. Do this, give me that, I need a new car, I want a better job. And most of this praying takes place on Sunday, his day off. It's not nice, and it's no way to treat a friend. But people do pray, and they pray for a lot of different things. You know, your sister needs an operation on her crotch. Your brother was arrested for defecating in a mall. But most of all, you'd really like to fuck that hot little redhead down at the convenience store. You know, the one with the eye patch and the club foot, huh? Can you pray for that? I think you'd have to. And I say, fine, pray for anything you want. Pray for anything. But what about the divine plan? Remember that? The divine plan. Long time ago, God made a divine plan. Gave it a lot of thought, decided it was a good plan, put it into practice. And for billions and billions of years, the divine plan has been doing just fine. Now you come along and pray for something. Well, suppose the thing you want isn't in God's divine plan. What do you want him to do? Change his plan? Just for you? Doesn't it seem a little arrogant? It's a divine plan. What's the use of being God if every rundown schmuck with a $2 prayer book can come along and fuck up your plan? And here's something else, another problem you might have. Suppose your prayers aren't answered. What do you say? Well, it's God's will. Thy will be done. Fine, but if it's God's will and he's going to do what he wants to anyway, why the fuck bother praying in the first place? Seems like a big waste of time to me. Couldn't you just skip the praying part and go right to his will? It's all very confusing. So to get around a lot of this, I decided to worship the sun. But, as I said, I don't pray to the sun. You know who I pray to? Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci. 2 reasons. First of all, I think he's a good actor, okay? To me, that counts. Second, he looks like a guy who can get things done. Joe Pesci doesn't fuck around. Doesn't fuck around. In fact, Joe Pesci came through on a couple of things that God was having trouble with. For years, I asked God to do something about my noisy neighbor with the barking dog. Joe Pesci straightened that cocksucker out with 1 visit. It's amazing what you can accomplish with a simple baseball bat. So I've been praying to Joe for about a year now. And I noticed something. I noticed that all the prayers I used to offer to God and all the prayers I now offer to Joe Pesci are being answered at about the same 50% rate. Half the time I get what I want, half the time I don't. Same as God, 50-50. Same as the 4-leaf clover and the horseshoe, the wishing well and the rabbit's foot. Same as the mojo man. Same as the voodoo lady who tells you your fortune by squeezing the goat's testicles. It's all the same, 50-50. So just pick your superstition, sit back, make a wish, and enjoy yourself. And for those of you who look to the Bible for moral lessons and literary qualities, I might suggest a couple of other stories for you. You might want to look at The 3 Little Pigs. That's a good one. Has a nice, happy ending. I'm sure you'll like that. Then there's Little Red Riding Hood, although it does have that X-rated part where the big bad wolf actually eats the grandmother, which I didn't care for, by the way. And finally, I've often always drawn a great deal of moral comfort from Humpty Dumpty. The part I like the best, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. That's because there is no Humpty Dumpty and there is no God. None, not one, no God, never was. In fact, I'm gonna put it this way. If there is a God, may he strike this audience dead. See, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Everybody's okay. All right? Tell you what. I'll raise the stakes a little bit. If there is a God, may he strike me dead. See? Nothing happened. Oh, wait. Got a little cramp in my leg. And my balls hurt. Plus, I'm blind. Oh, now I'm okay again. Must have been Joe Pesci, huh? God bless Joe Pesci. Thank you all very much. Joe bless you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Legend has it 2 weeks later he died.
That is a fact. He was pretty brutal on that shit, though, man. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe that there is a God of some sort. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. There's something out there. I don't know what it is. I don't know. What is it? What is your thoughts on that? But I'm not going to stand there and go, if there is a God, don't fuck around with that
He's
shit.
funny, but a lot of his stuff isn't. I don't know how to explain it. Like he's not joke like a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
Like he's giving you like I really think this, but it has like funny undertones to it, like where he's being goofy, but I feel like that's really how he feels.
Oh, of course.
But who knows, bro?
He's a pretty brutal motherfucker, though.
He's like, your God isn't real. Fucking, you might as well pray to Humpty Dumpty.
I mean, everybody's entitled to their, everybody, like I said, everybody's entitled to their own belief. I don't criticize. I don't judge. It's not my place to do that. Whatever. He's a cool motherfucker. He's pretty funny, but he's also very brutal.
I think I told you this last time. I don't think it was recorded though, but I had a customer. She was an Indian lady. This is probably one of the most powerful moments I had with the customer, and it wasn't even me talking to her, just kind of listening to her. I'm probably gonna get some shit for this, but Indian people, I believe it's a Hinduism, I believe, but it's polytheistic, where it's multiple gods. You have a god of destruction, you have a god of love, like you have multiple gods for different things. And I was in her house working, and my manager shows up, and he's an African guy. I want to say he's from Nigeria, but I'm not 100% sure. But he's a smart guy. A lot of people from other countries speak multiple languages. Like my dumbass, only English, and I barely can speak English. But
Poquito?
see, and he comes in and he kind of notices I'm working. He kind of notices her decor, and he sees a bunch of Indian related or Hindu related statues and pictures and stuff. But he also notices Jesus and a bunch of other kind of stuff. And he asks her, like, where are you from? She says it. He talks to her in her tongue, like they speak whatever language it is, and she's kind of surprised. And then he mentions to her in English, like, I notice you have Hindu icons, but you also have Jesus. Like, are you Christian? And she says, it's all the same thing. Like, it's one thing. Like, it's not Christianity. It's not Hinduism. It's not Buddhism. Like, it's all one thing. And that kind of stuck with me. And I actually had a pretty powerful experience once on some psychoactive edibles. I think they were like Captain Crunch things. And I took some and immediately had to lay down. It was super overwhelming. But that's kind of what I experienced. I was in like this soccer ball. I was inside of a soccer ball shape. And I was laying down trying to fall asleep, just my eyes closed. Complete closed eyes visuals. I was seeing all this. And I'm inside of a soccer ball. Like with the shapes like all on the outside, like those weird pentagons, hexagons.
Yeah, but soccer ball.
I'm just saying,
It's
like,
weird. Why could it be a fucking football?
because just the shape, like, you know how a soccer ball has those patches,
Yeah.
like the whatever the shapes are, and it's a bunch of them like building. That's just kind of how it was. I can kind of see the frame of this object we're inside of.
Mm-hmm.
You could say we're inside of the earth or like a ball.
I think you mentioned this to me in reference to this last time. But
Maybe, but
Go ahead.
I had all these shapes, and each one of these shapes, like on the outside of the ball, projected a god, like to the middle of the shape, and it kind of symbolized to me each religion has their own figure that kind of projects itself to people, but it's all inside the same ball, like it's all the same thing. It's just different ways to talk to different people.
or represent different.
Exactly.
Just
So
different way to
if you
represent.
grow up Muslim, you have these certain beliefs, you have this certain image of what God is to you and what God represents. And that speaks to you more than a Western God or an Asian God, or you know what I mean? It kind of just speaks to the culture more.
Mm-hmm.
And in this little thing, it was like, oh, it's all the same thing. And they were all like rotating around each other like they were one thing. And I was kind of experiencing, like, I don't know, it was very interesting, but it just kind of like, oh, well, to me, it made me realize none of the small details matter. Like, okay, you believe Jesus was the Son of God, and let's say I don't. At the end of the day, I don't think it matters. I think it matters how you treat people. I think it matters how you treat your family, how you treat loved ones. If you see a bum on the street, there was a quote, I don't remember it exactly now, but it was like, I felt ripped off one day, man. There was this dude in the middle of the street, and I came across some money. I'm not going to say how, but I came across the extra $20, right? And this dude is in the middle of the street, and he's holding up a gas can. Like, he didn't seem like he was too financially, like, struggling, but, like, he was holding up a gas can. Like, hey, man, like, I ran out of gas. I need gas.
That's a good one.
And I'm just like, that sucks. Like, I would hate to run out of gas and not have my wallet or not have money or whatever. So this $20 that wasn't mine, that I came across somehow, it's not my money, right? It was kind of gifted to me. So let me help you with it. So I give him the $20, thinking he's going to be, oh, man, thank you. Like, this will get me back home, whatever, blah, 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 right? I hand him the money. He's like, thanks, puts it in his pocket. And I keep going through the light, and he's still standing there with the gas can. Like, bro, I just gave you enough money to halfway fill that gas can up. Like, you don't have to stand here with the gas can anymore.
That'll fill that bitch up all the way, halfway.
No, it was a big gas can. It wasn't like a little gallon like for a lawnmower. It was a big-ass gas can, right? But in my head, like, that $20 could have got you where you needed to go. Like, so obviously he had a scam going, and it kind of pissed me off. But at the end of the day, there was a quote I saw. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it was like, if you stand on the side of the corner and you're just trying to make money, you're lying about what you need, right? You're trying to make people feel sorry for you and give you money, and you're lying about it. That says something about your character, right? But if I see someone on the side of the road and I think they're struggling or they need help and I don't help them, that says something about my character. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, but
so like, I would rather, if I think you need help and I have the means to help you, right? This $5, this $20. At the end of the day, what I'm gonna go buy another bottle of liquor? I'm gonna do the same fucking thing with it that you're gonna do with it, right? But it's extra to me. Like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna survive. But if the chance is that you really need this, and I don't give it to you, and I can, then that says more about me than it does about you. But at the end of the day, if I'm literally trying to help you and you take that $20 and you do whatever you want with it and you're lying and you really,
that's,
that says more about you.
That says more about your character than
Exactly.
it does my character.
So at the end of the day, it's not my character that's in question because I'm trying to do the right thing by helping you. If I have the means to, then I'll do it.
But some people don't care about having a horrible or shitty character, but that's irrelevant. You did the right thing. You did what was on your heart. You did something you felt compelled to do. At the end of the day, you're laying your head on your pillow at night. You know that wasn't your 20 in the first place. It was gifted to you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
fuck it.
I always did that, bro. I remember one time in particular, I went to Sonic, and with money that was gifted to me, you know how that works. God, you could buy yourself some lunch. I'm like, all right. I went to Sonic. It was $20, and whatever I got, it was like $7, right? Chick comes up to my window, gives me my food. I'm like, here you go. I pay. And she goes to give me change. I'm like, keep it. And I was tipping her more than my meal was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And she was like, are you serious? Like, your meal was only $7. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. And like the joy she had. She's like, oh my God, thank you. And it wasn't my money in the first place, but
I do it when I get gifted money too. I'm doing that shit too with the Sonic because I love their Sonic. I love Sonic. Especially with tip money. I mean, gifted money. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Gifted money.
It's just like knowing that this isn't mine, right? Someone gave it to me. It's not really mine, but they appreciated me so much that they gave this to me, and it makes you feel good when you get it, right? Like I'm not a horrible person. Like, I'm taking care of my customer, and so they feel the need to, whatever it is, they feel the need to give me this. Mm-hmm. But then to take that gift and turn around and gift it to someone else, it's just like, I don't know. To me, it like completes like a cycle. You're like,
it's called paying it forward, bro. It's called do it, but always make sure that you don't do it expecting to boast about it. Like a lot of people do that nowadays.
No, when I did it, bro, I was hoping one day, and like 4 years from now, I'm gonna have a podcast or reaction videos. Yeah. And then I can talk about this on the reaction.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Like a lot of people do it and go. So I just want to let you know that the other day, guess what I did to help somebody? I don't give a fuck. I gave somebody $100. Me. Hi. I did it.
Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever went to a fast food restaurant or something?
No.
And you go to pull up and they're like, hey, they already paid for you.
Nobody's ever done that for me. They're fucking expect I didn't have money last time to do it. And they said, well, go ahead and give me your food back. Yeah. So I fucking starved that day.
I had it up here at Chicken Express, actually. And it was weird. Normally, the person the person in front of you pays for you, right? So by the time you get to the window to pay, they're gone. So
Right.
there's no like, there's nothing weird there. It's like, oh damn, that was nice of them, but like I can't thank them because they've already left. Like
Right.
it's not. People don't do it to get a thank you. They're just like, I got a bonus, whatever. Like I'll pay for the person behind me's meal. How much was it? And it was like $20-something bucks.
Well, some people do it maybe think if I do this kind-hearted thing, maybe Jesus will reward me.
Maybe. But the weird part about this situation is the person behind me paid for me. Hadn't paid for me yet.
How did they know you were?
They didn't. They pulled up to the thing and they said, hey, how much is the person's meal in front of me? And the person probably told them and they said, I'll pay for it.
$47. Okay, never mind.
Exactly. But it was $20-something bucks. And the weird part was I'm in line waiting for my food and the person's like, hey, you don't have to pay. The person behind you already paid for you. And I'm like looking in my rearview mirror at this lady like,
Did you
what?
wave at her?
No, what?
You didn't go.
I should have went, you know what? I'm going to pay for hers. I didn't know what to do. But I came
You're
back.
such a fucking asshole.
I came back and I was like, wow, that was kind of cool. Like I need to do that.
So what happened is the bitch rolled out to fucking pay for her food, thinking that you would have probably covered her meal. She goes, "That'll be $27." This motherfucker, really?
I was hoping he'd pay for my $50 meal.
Yeah.
Let me get the
Who was
person
it?
in front of you.
It said that they're like, I was thinking about trying to be kind today and pay it forward, and I pulled up and I said, "How much is the guy's bill in front of me?" It's $47.
Never mind.
Fuck that.
What about behind me?
Yeah, well, it's $1.75. Okay, I'll get his bill. You're stupid. Anyways, yep. Y'all have fun. Appreciate you listening.
What did we just watch?
I don't know. George Carlin.
You gave me too much liquor.
No, you gave me too much liquor. Y'all be careful. Appreciate it. Later.